Hey, hello everyone. Welcome back to this channel again. So in the previous session, we have learned the basics of uh, the big data, and we have seen how the Google Cloud services used to mitigate such challenges. So now it's time to go one step deeper into the technical aspects. So today we are going to learn the MapReduce concept, which is definitely a foundational concept in big data processing. So this is very important because many of the Google Cloud solutions are built on top of this principle. So let's start with understanding what MapReduce is. So basically, MapReduce is a framework or a model. Point number one, used for processing huge volumes of data sets. Point number two, this processing happens on a distributed cluster, point number three, and the processing takes place in parallel. So these 4 points you should remember when we are dealing with MapReduce. It's a framework or a model, yep, for processing the huge volume of data on a distributed cluster, and the processing takes place in parallel, right? So this helped to distribute the work across multiple machines of a cluster. So in a nutshell, uh, you can also think that there is one template, not standardized or defined or approved one, but usually the big data processing happens in somehow in this fashion. What happens is there is a huge task. The task is divided among the workers, and the workers will do their jobs parallelly, and at the end you will get the consolidated results. So this is a kind of generic template. Always, most of the times it gets implied on processing the huge volume of data sets, maybe on premise or on the Google clouds, right? So this processes big data by dividing the work and doing this in parallel, like we said just a couple of seconds back. So MapReduce has got three main steps. You must know these steps, at least understand the principle, I mean the basic principles of this step. One is the map phase, one is the shuffle phase, and one is the reduce phase. So in the next slide, we'll go and we will discuss this map, shuffle, and reduce. So let's start with map phase. So map phase processes the input data in parallel. This is point number one. Parallel is quite obvious because we are dealing with the distributed and the map reduce one. So what happens here is, here the map function produces the key value pair. So the mapper reads the input records and applies the map function. Now you should become familiar with such terminologies because, like I said, we are going one step deep into the technical side, right? So what happens is, map function is the map phase processes the input data in parallel, each and every record of the input data in parallel. It reads the record, every record, and applies the map function. It applies the map function on that record, and the resultant will be always a key value pair. So what happens is, it applies the map function and the resultant would be always key and value pair. So this sounds pretty much tricky, but when we move, when we adjust after these 3 points, we will be dealing with one example, and when I come back again to this slide, the things will be quite simpler, right? So next we'll see what happens in shuffle phase. So in shuffle phase, after the map produces the key value pairs, like we discussed, the shuffle groups all the records that have the same key. Usually in shuffle, what happens is grouping. Grouping of the data happens based on keys. This happens in shuffle phase, right? And finally, in the reduce phase, the grouped data is being aggregated, and the aggregation happens in the reduce phase. This is how the things works: map, shuffle, and reduce. So let's quickly go to one example. And yeah, so let's go to our example where we have captured some orders, like we have the order number, we have the name, and we have the amount. Like I said, in real time, this could be a huge set of data, but for our understanding purpose, I have just come up with some sample data for explanation. Okay. Now, what we have is, let's first understand what map phase does in MapReduce. So what map phase does, it just produces a key value pair like we have discussed together. So it will come to the row number 1, and let's consider only name and amount here. Okay, for our understanding, let's name and amount. Okay, so we have max is the key, 100 is the value, Shane is the key, 250 is the value, Ram is the key, 500 is the value. Again we have Shane, 250 is the value, some value here, max 200, max 500, something like that. So in map phase, it goes through every line. Okay, there is no case of duplication and all in max phase. What it produces is, this produces a key value pair. Okay, so max is the key in this example, and its value is 100. So max is the name, and the amount he's purchased is of 100 rupees. Okay, so this is what happens in key value pair. It means this produces a key and its value. All right, next is shuffle phase. So in shuffle phase, the values are grouped or combined, not combined, the values are grouped or kept together with respect to the key. Here, what is the key? We have max. So what are the values associated to max? We have 100, we have 200, and we have 500. So you can see that in shuffle, oh sorry, I'm sorry. Okay, in shuffle, mm, what happens is, with respect to the key, the values are grouped together. Now you can see max, his values are 100, 200, and 500. Next, Shane, 250. We have one more Shane here, 250. We have Ram. How many RAM are there? 500. Only one RAM. So I'm just giving one example. There could be plenty of records here. So with respect to the keys, the values are grouped together. See, they are grouped into a single container, right? For Shane as a key, the values are grouped into a single container. So this is the shuffle phase for you. So understanding the shuffle is of prime importance. It is because when we move on to the Google Clouds, any of the services, there Shuffle plays very important role to distribute the work across the available resources. Yep. So it's a big story, but try to understand the Shuffle very thoroughly. Yep. So in Shuffle, I repeat, what happens is, the keys, I mean the values are grouped together with respect to keys. I'm not using the word combine. They are not combining. They are just bought together in a single bucket or a single place. That's it. So in reduce phase, actual calculation happens. So now if I apply a logic in my code, so I want to find the sum of all the amounts placed by max. So here it could be 100 plus 200 plus 500. So this is the final output. So the total amount of order placed by Max is 800. The total amount of orders placed by Shane is 500. So this goes like this. We cannot put only add. We can find the average amount of order placed by Max. What is the minimum amount of order placed by Max? What is the maximum amount of order placed by Max? Right? So this is how the map, shuffle, and reduce works in case of map reduce. So let me write it something like this. Reduce is to perform aggregation. A-double-G-R-E-G. Okay. To perform the aggregation. So aggregation could be maximum, minimum, sum, average, count, and so on. I hope this is very much clear. to understand map and reduce concept in big data processing. So let me go back to the slides and we'll go through the content again. So in the map, we have seen the key value pair. See, this is the key value pair. We have shuffle. It grouped all the data together with respect to key. So this with respect to max key, all the data belongs to max is grouped together. So this is shuffle phase for you. And next is reduce, which is nothing but combining and actual calculation happens. Usually the aggregation happens here. Here we see we have the aggregated value of max is 800, Shane is 500, and this RAM is 500. So this is how the MapReduce works. I hope this is pretty much clear at right now, but yeah, there is long way to go to understand these concepts thoroughly. So that's all from this video, guys. So in the next session we will be again discussing on what is Apache Hadoop and what do we understand by HDFS, right? So these are also again very important. Like I said, we are just going step by step into the technical aspects of the Google Cloud. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video soon. Have a good day, guys.